This show is made possible by support from landsharks.ca. Visit them for all your coin and swag needs at www.landsharks.ca. And by viewers like you. Thank you for your donations.
A local caching 101 event, Groundspeak gets a great review, and part one of a two-part series from Geocoinfest 2010. It's September 25th, 2010. This is Trackfiles. Hi there, and welcome to Trackfiles. I'm your host, Icenrye. Trackfiles is a video podcast featuring caching news, events, reviews from guest geocaching podcasters, and YouTube videos. If you'd like to reach my website, it's trackfiles.tv. My email address is geoicenrye@icenrye.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at Trackfiles. So, what's new? Well, today seems to be International CITO event. If you watched the previous episode, you know that the CITO event's being held all over the world, including right here in Prince George. As soon as I finish this taping, I actually have to go get changed and head out to one here myself. And we're really looking forward to this event. The weather today is not the best. It's kind of raining, it's kind of ugly outside. But it's being sponsored by a local community association, and after the event's over, they're going to be putting on a big banquet for us. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll get out there, hang out with fellow cachers, and get a meal out of the deal. But that's enough for chit-chat. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight in some caching news. So for our first news article, we stay right here in Prince George with an article from the Prince George Free Press. Caching in by using a GPS. Spare batteries. That's what Andrew Toms told a group of people interested in geocaching was probably the most important thing to remember. Well, that and your GPS. I used to run out of power on my GPS, Toms told the group Sunday afternoon at the Railway and Forestry Museum. Sometimes when I was within 50 feet of the coordinates, I'd also run out of power on my flashlight. It's no fun trying to find your way through a forest with no light. That shouldn't happen to Toms now for a couple of reasons. First, he remembers to take spare batteries, and second, quote, one local cacher who knew about my forgetfulness posted a cache and included a shaker flashlight in it. When I found it, I knew it was intended for me. So Andrew, or Plumbrook Acres as we like to call him around here, PBA, had quite a reputation for running out of batteries at the worst of times. But hey, let that be a general tip to anybody out there who's caching: spare batteries. So our next news article is not only a news article, it's also a very major milestone. From the Daily News, Stafford woman is cashing in. Passion for outdoor sport leads her to her 10,000th geocache find. Claire Sloat says she could talk a lot about geocaching. Just ask her about the sport and she'll prove it. After her 10,000th find this summer, she's got the proof for her passion. Quote, I could rattle on all day about geocaching and about Godfrey's Pond, she said. I have a heart warmth for them. So this is a great article on a lady who had her 10,000th find. Wonderful article. I'll have links to it on my website at trackfiles.tv. And if you're watching the show, congratulations on your 10,000th find. Only about 9,000 and change behind you. I think I'll get started on that this afternoon. So those of you who get the Groundspeak newsletter may already know of this article, but it's definitely worthwhile mentioning here on Trackfiles. From crosscut.com. Geocaching worldwide, nurtured in Seattle. Seattle-based Groundspeak is both entrepreneur and steward of geocaching.com, homes for millions of GPS-enabled treasure hunters around the world. It recently saved lives in Colorado. Boy Scouts have a badge for it. Over 4,000 people crowded into Carnation this summer to get a piece of it. And a Seattle-based company is both its top dog and arguably its fiercest protector. It is geocaching, a popular activity with millions of adherents all over the world that combines a treasure hunt with GPS technology. The company most prominent in the geocaching world, Groundspeak Inc., is celebrating its 10th anniversary this month, a benchmark for a company run by three men who turned their personal pleasure into a mini empire. So this is a great write-up on the Groundspeak head office and features the three guys that run the company now. And again, I'll have links at trackfiles.tv. So next we feature a guest video from Daryl W4 of the Geocaching Podcast and Cache-a-Maniacs and Cachers of the Round Table. Recently he took off from his hometown Detroit to visit the Twin Cities area in Minnesota for the Geocoinfest. And it's a two-part article. We're going to have part one this week, which is a caching event the day before the event. And next week we'll have the Geocoinfest video itself. So Daryl, how are things in Minneapolis?
Yeah, Icenrye, I'm actually in Bloomington, Minnesota. which tomorrow is going to be the home of the Geocoinfest 2010. And we're actually going to start off the day's events, or the weekend's events for us, with some cache runs. Now this actually started a couple of days ago, or I'll have to check into that. We have some local experts we're going to run into. Let's go find them right now. Well, we've caught up with Sir Z-Man and Super R, the Twin Cities Geocaching podcast, and we're going to go caching on this cache run, but they gave us these passports, which I actually downloaded and printed. Do you know what this is all about?
Well, they've got 3 different series of caches, or of cache series we can go out after. That kind of been pre-approved. They've put little stamps inside some of them, so you stamp your piece of paper, puts a little punch in there. It's actually more of a punch than a stamp. In other caches, they've put codes, so you write down next to the particular cache that you're at the code word, and you have to find 5 caches in each of the 3 series, or at least 5 from any one series. And then you turn it in, and you're entered in a drawing for a prize.
Very cool. And the prize, as I understand it, is actually a 3D Eartha coin.
Yeah, which is very cool.
And we've actually got one of those, so I'm not sure we'll actually turn ours in, but maybe if we do, we'll get a coin and pass it on to a lucky listener.
There you go.
Well, we've got the light rail station over here, and I think the first of our caches is actually right around here.
Yeah, this light rail is actually new to Minnesota. It just started, I think, a year, maybe 2 years ago. And it's catching on in popularity. It takes you right down to Vikings games or Twins games. It actually ends at the brand new Twins field, or Target field. So we're going to go out and try to find the Fort Snelling cache, which is just around the corner.
Cool. Well, and we're not going to take you guys along for the caches too much, because we don't want to give too much away.
Nah.
But they are micros. Now, do you like micros, or you like the big caches?
I like the big caches.
Okay, so hopefully we'll find some big caches. But I do understand there's a virtual around here that has a pretty cool plane.
Yes, according to the aerial view, there's an SR-71 Blackbird not too far from here.
Well, I happen to love those planes, so we'll have to check that one out. Well, let's go find this cache, and maybe we'll meet up with you guys at that plane. Well, we came out here to find the SR-71, which we found out was not an SR-71, it was an A-12.
Yes.
But that's been kind of repossessed, I guess. Still found the cache that we needed, though, the info for the virtual. Had a lot of fun because it's their open house, and Super R, you even got to go with this guy, the big Hercules.
Yeah, he is really big inside. They actually let me look outside the top, so I got to see what it's like to have a view outside of an airplane.
So a lot of fun here, but we got to get back on track and get one more cache for the LRT, and then hopefully we can get one of the other Passport series caches for whole sheets. We got 5 to do total for each of the sheets to be able to turn it in. We've got 4 of the light rail series, and now we're on to the Minnesota. Was that the other one?
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And then we've got the St. Paul, which I don't think we're going to be able to do. So only a couple more hours left, and we're at the event.
That's right.
Well, we did manage to get all of the light rail caches that we need. We ended up going for the St. Paul caches rather than the Minneapolis caches on those 3 options for the passports. But unfortunately, we did not get through the St. Paul's. We need one more cache, just one. So hopefully we'll get that tomorrow. But now, we had to hightail it back here for the meet and greet before the actual big event tomorrow. And this is tonight's big event. Already when we got back to the hotel, there were many people milling about, getting everything set up. So we're better get in pretty soon and check this out. And I'm sure we'll be able to hit one of the event organizers and find out a little bit more about tomorrow as well. Well, we managed to make it into the meet and greet event and checked in already, but ran into No Snow here, who's one of the organizers. So I wanted to corner him and kind of find out a little bit more about tomorrow's event, which is the big Geocoinfest 2010 Twin Cities. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
Excellent.
Very good.
Well, what is this event all about?
It's about trading coins and allowing vendors the opportunity to show their new wares and allow the coiners to buy the new wares.
So anyone who's into geocoins is going to have a bunch of fun tomorrow, I'm sure.
Yes, lots of trading.
What is this event all about, this little pre-event?
This will be the 3rd pre-event. We had a bonfire on Friday night, and it's just kind of for people to fly in early to make a weekend of it, to give them a chance to meet other coiners before the serious trading begins.
And to check in and do all of that kind of stuff, so there's more time tomorrow.
Yes.
Well, excellent. How many people are we looking at for tomorrow's event?
We're hoping 500 to 700 people.
So a nice, good-sized event.
Nice mega.
Mega event, of course. And tonight, how many?
Probably about 200.
Okay, so not quite mega event.
No.
But still, there's a lot more people out there already than I expected, and we only just got started.
Yes.
Well, it's going to be a whole lot of fun tomorrow, I'm sure, and we hope to run into you again then.
Great.
Well, as you'd imagine, it was a busy event, lots of trading, lots of noise going on, so we didn't have a chance to talk with anyone else, unfortunately, during the meet and greet event. But tomorrow at Geocoinfest looks like it's going to be a great event. Unfortunately, I have to get this up into the feed for Icenrye so that he can get it out to you for this weekend. But next week, stay with us and I'll have more information about this great event, and you can find out then.
So that was a great video, Daryl. Thank you very much for your submission. And make sure you tune in next week for part 2 of this series. Alright, well, let's take a look at some upcoming events. All these events are scheduled for next Saturday, October the 2nd. First, we go off to Australia for the South Meet and Greet 2. From there, we fly to Germany for Happy Birthday CG77. There, across the Atlantic to Arizona for Just Hike to the Top of Picasso Peak. And from there, we're going to Missouri for Jesse James Cash Bash 3. So these are just some of the many events scheduled for next Saturday, October the 2nd. And if you're hosting an upcoming event and would like it featured on Trackfiles, email me, geoicenrye@icenrye.com. So for our final segment, let's look back at this past week in geocaching podcast. We start off with Cache-Maniacs, where Daryl and Dree interview Maniac 1957, who dreams of caching on the International Space Station. From there, we head on over to XPunkX Geocaching podcast, where he and Daryl W4 discuss the Geocoinfest event. There, we're going down under to visit a Spin Doc Bob and Geotalk, where we discover an exciting geocache trail through the Australian outback, hear about Garmin's bird's eye service, and we uncover some of your sneaky caching stories. And finally, we return to the home of the Geocoinfest in Twin Cities, where they also have a review of the recent event. So as usual, links to all these episodes, all these podcasts at trackfiles.tv. If you don't listen to them already, check them out. They're great podcasts to listen to. Well, that just about wraps up this episode, but before we go, a couple of quick notes. First off, thank you everyone for your continuing support. I'm getting lots of emails. People are really enjoying this new show format, and I'm really enjoying doing this new show. Also, speaking of fans, Trackfiles now has its own official Facebook fan page, and you can find that at facebook.com/Trackfiles. Also, shout out has to go to show sponsor Landsharks. Make sure you visit them for all your cash and swag needs at landsharks.ca. But in the meantime and in between time, that's it. Another episode of Trackfiles I hope you enjoyed. So until the next episode, cash on.